Tonight, future proves past as Paul Ryan decides not to seek re-election. And did Trump post to the Q board tonight? Hi, I'm Craig, and welcome back to Just Informed Talk. For those of you who don't know, I start off each and every one of these episodes by saying thank you to each and every one of my subscribers. Without you guys, this channel would not be possible, so thank you all for coming here. If you have not hit the subscribe button yet, please come here to this landing page, click the big red subscribe button, and make sure you hit the bell for notifications. That way, you'll be informed as soon as these videos get posted, because as soon as this information is made available to me, I make it available to you. Now, we're going to jump right into the Q board because we got a lot to cover. First, we have a post from Q here, and he says, quote, FBI burning midnight oil, and he gives us a link to Sarah Carter, who's a Fox correspondent, reporter, journalist, and she posts here in response to this, or with this here as the response. She says midnight, and they're talking about Nunes. Why is this important? Well, Q goes into the next one here, talking about who is Ezra Cohen Watnick. Well, we're going to get into that here for a second. So an aide who was ousted from the White House reemerges at the State Department, according to this New York Times article. Why is this important? Well, what they're talking about tonight is Nunes and Gowdy, Trey Gowdy and Devin Nunes, have finally received copies of the papers that first had given precedent for the Russia investigation. Now, why is that important? Well, they had been begging for these, not begging, they had subpoenaed the Department of Justice and Rod Rosenstein to turn over these documents, and apparently there's over 1 million documents that need to be turned over that were in this subpoena. Now, why is this document important? Well, the document is just one of many that show the corruption inside the Department of Justice and FBI. Now, it's pretty incredible to go through what is actually going on here, and I want to leave this for you guys to kind of research for yourself, because there is so much here at play. If you guys want a good analysis on it, Q says later for us to watch Hannity. So if you have that episode recorded, or if you can find it online, please go and watch Hannity. You'll learn a lot about the Clintons, Comey, and Mueller crime syndicates that have been running in our government for a very long time, unimpeded. So, but what does this article have to do with everything? Well, there's a lot going on here, and what we're going to get into is how Mr. Cohen Watnick was working at the Trump White House when Director Flynn, the national security advisor, was removed and H.R. McMaster was brought in. One of the first things H.R. McMaster did was fire Mr. Cohen Watnick, who was doing his best to help the Trump administration. And he has actually been pointed to as one of the key people who helped Devin Nunes get the information he sought for his bombshell memo that he released that proved beyond a reasonable doubt, in my opinion, that there is obvious collusion going on, and it's not with Trump and Russia. It's with deep state actors in the government who are working to subvert the duly elected president. Now, this article goes on to say that now Mr. Cohen Watnick has been rehired to the Department of Justice, and Sessions has been getting a lot of flack lately, but Q keeps telling us to trust Sessions. So is this another part of Sessions' long game that he's playing here, where he's playing possum basically, and he's taking the whippings from President Trump because it's all a part of a higher level mind game that's going on behind the scenes? So that's what I think the case is right now. So, and excuse me if I'm not sounding great, as I'm still under the weather. I think I'm coming into the worst of this sickness that I've had. It's basically like the flu, and it's really kind of debilitating. But I apologize for the tardiness of this video, but I'm bringing you this information because it's really important, and I made that promise. No matter what, if I'm sick, rain, sleet, snow, hail, just like the post office, I'll deliver the news. Or deliver this mail, which is news, basically. Now, what he's talking about here, though, in this article is that Cohen Watnick now has a position at the Department of Justice, and he'll be working under Sessions and Rosenstein. Now, why was this memo so important that was released? Well, here is Donald Trump's Twitter, but we're going to get into that in a second. But the reason that it's important is because what a lot of people have been suggesting is that, and that there's been a lot of pressure on Rod Rosenstein. So Rod Rosenstein is basically under the gun right now. He was actually facing many different accusations by people different, I don't know if you would call them threats, but they were basically threats of impeachment because of his inability to follow the subpoenaed, the requests via subpoena by the congressional members Gowdy and Nunes, who were trying to obtain this information and still have not gotten a majority of it, which, as I said, it counts for over 1 million plus documents. But now they've just finally gotten the first sliver, which is basically a preview or an explanation of how the Russia investigation was started and what evidence was used to start that investigation. So, Q says, he says, what was just released to Nunes? Right? And it's pointing to this article about Ezra Cohen. So Ezra Cohen obviously went in there, and he's the one who's helping get this information out. Was it a warning? A telegraph? And then this. Here we go. The next one that Q posts here. He says, Russia vows to shoot down any and all missiles fired at Syria. Get ready, Russia, because they will be coming, nice and new and smart. You shouldn't be partners with a gas-killing animal who kills his people and enjoys it. Well, this is a very interesting perspective here. Now, a lot of people have taken this at face value, and I choose not to. And let me explain. I have a very good reason not to want to take this at face value, given interpretation and events that have followed this tweet. So the first thing that we want to look at when we examine this tweet is, why was it put out? Well, Q is suggesting here that it was a warning and a telegraph, and he says it's happening. So we are going to be striking Syria. Now, I believe, I'm one of those who believes it's going to be a very limited strike, and I believe that because the deep state is monitoring the back channels, every one of them most likely, that Trump realizes that it's almost impossible to have a direct communication with Russia without having it be twisted and turned against him somehow by deep state actors who will either release it to the press and twist the words, or they will do other things to subvert his actions. Now, when President Trump posts this tweet, there's somebody who pointed out a very good idea about it. Now, if you guys have ever heard of a key agreement protocol, it's used in cryptography, which is basically just secret communication. And it's a protocol whereby 2 or more parties can agree on a key in such a way that both influence the outcome. If properly done, this precludes undesired third parties from forcing a key choice on the agreeing parties. Protocols that are useful in practices also do not reveal any eavesdropping party what key has been agreed upon. Many key exchange systems have one party generate the key and simply send that key to the other party. The other party has no influence on the key. Using a key agreement protocol avoids some of the key distribution problems associated with such systems. Protocols where both parties influence the final derived key are the only way to implement perfect forward secrecy. Okay, so why is this what I'm referencing? Well, a lot of people have taken this and tried to decipher it. Somebody had a very good observation about this tweet, and if you this tweet here. Now it's at 3:57 a.m. Now one AN0N worker autist out there doing some great work. He came up with the idea of taking the 3rd, 5th, and 7th letter, starting at the beginning and putting it together and trying to make a code out of that. And it said something like McCain behind it, and we don't want to actually, we're gonna retaliate, whatever. But also, this is just a heads up to Putin. He's telling him, look, we're coming. And there's a lot to back up that Russia had foreknowledge. Now, just recently, Russia has moved 11 of its Navy ships out of the Syrian port. So I believe they took this and they understand that it's coming. Now, the importance to all of this that we're talking about here really just comes down to the fact that Trump's not trying to start a war in Syria, as most people are very scared of, and most people are outwardly thinking that that is the case. No, much to the contrary, what Trump is doing is he's playing a very sophisticated game of chess with Russia, And if you imagine that the globalists who have infiltrated our deep state are certainly fighting Putin in Russia and have subverted some of his state acting apparatuses, then it would not be unreasonable to think that they have to have some kind of channel of communication where they can communicate directly with one another through coded messages that may actually avert a larger conflict, as opposed to what it would appear outwardly as antagonizing and provoking a larger conflict. So I want everybody out there to take solace in the fact that there's more going on beneath the scenes than we could even imagine at this point. So there is certainly something to be said for strategy in all of this, and I hope you guys will get more research in this and let me know what you think in the comments. See what you can find and pull up, because I really that's kind of where I'm going with this, and that's kind of my belief at this point. So I'm going to leave that there. I can't wait to hear you guys in the comments and your thoughts. But now, they were talking about a house cleaning, right? Q says, so right back here, he says, a clean house is very important, and house is capitalized, as in the House of Representatives. So, Q posts to his own post here. It says a clean house is very important, with the brackets on house, Q. Now, it says a clean house is very important. He's responding to his own post here, and he's saying our comms must be this way. Refer back to the why. National security laws. Trust the plan. April showers. Q. So they can't just directly tell us, because that would be violating national security laws, and they could be Trump could be impeached, and members of his cabinet could be arrested and put in jail. But what they can do is make insinuations and give us crumbs so that we can figure it out for ourselves. So, what do we have in the news coming out today? Well, we have an AN0N post here, House of Reps, right? And what he's saying is that in response to this post here is a clean house. He says House of Reps, right? And today we have the news breaking that Senator Paul Ryan will not seek re-election for the leader of the House of Representatives. Why is this important? Well, one of the ANONs found something very interesting. This is actually evidence here that not just McCain has been in contact with this person who was brought to our attention from the Syrian Emergency Task Force named Muaz Mustafa when we were directed to his Twitter page by Q in an earlier post. It's actually showing here that he has infiltrated our government to the top layer, to the point where he's not just in what would appear to be Aleppo in Syria at a restaurant with John McCain and Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, who is the head of ISIS, as you guys probably very well know. But also he's been seen here in Washington, D.C. with none other than Paul Ryan. Isn't that just interesting? So obviously the connections are being made, the dots are being drawn, and I'd love to hear what your take is in the comments on this, but this is pretty much where I'm gonna sit with it. I'm gonna go ahead and say it's probably very, very likely that we have a connection here between Paul Ryan, John McCain, and this Muaz Mustafa and Syria, and the alleged false flags that are going on across that area and region, and this whole conundrum with the chemical attack that's been drawing us to a larger conflict outwardly, it would appear. But as I went through in the last couple posts, you know, if Russia's leaving and there's some sort of secret message coming through this tweet, then we can make a few different insinuations. So again, please share your thoughts in the comments and let me know what you think about that. But I think that pretty much draws up a fully rounded picture. Now, here's a very interesting point that's being made by Q. So he points to this article first, and it's an article that says that Clinton has advised Pompeo to stop the purge at State Department. Well, of course she's advising him to do that, because Mike Pompeo is getting rid of the globalists and the people who have been Hillary sycophants and deep state actors who are obviously a part of the cabal that's working against Trump right now in order to subvert his duly elected administration from enacting its policies and procedures around the world. So, with that being said, this article is released today at 4 p.m. Interesting. And the article basically just goes on to say that, you know, it's funny because in here it sounds like Hillary is saying that she was happy with Tillerson. Of course she was happy with Tillerson. He was one of the deep state guys. But she said she would be happy to speak with Pompeo. And, her getting this article out there only shows the weakness that she is, the weak position that she's in right now, because she's trying as an unelected, non-representative of anything to tell us what to do in our State Department. Well, somebody's a little going off their rocker. But remember, this was at 4 o'clock today. Now, at 6:30, or at almost 7 o'clock, this article comes out. And what does it say? Oh, it says, Pompeo failed to disclose ownership of business connected to China. And even Q says, that article came out, then this article. And then it says, down she goes, Q. This is Hillary Clinton's death thralls, in my opinion. Her political and her all the criminal activity that she's been involved in. She's going to be brought on charges, I believe. It's not a matter of if, but when, in my humble opinion. I'd love to hear your thoughts. But now this article goes on just be laughable. Talking about how Mike Pompeo owned a business that was linked to a Chinese government-owned company. How many dozens of businesses did Hillary get contributions from that were connected with the Chinese through her Clinton Foundation? Where is the FBI kicking down her door? Where is the FBI kicking down the Clinton Foundation doors? Where is the FBI looking for the 33,000 emails? I'll tell you where they are. They're nowhere. Okay? And it's incredibly infuriating because there's no fair application of the law. This is obviously biased. This is obviously a hit piece put out by the Clinton Foundation and her cronies to smear the name of Pompeo, when in reality, she's probably so deep with the Chinese that they were the ones that probably gave her this information to help her. Okay, maybe not Xi, because there's a lot of speculation out there that Xi, Putin, and Trump are all pretty much on the same page as far as getting the globalists out of the way. Our biggest enemy, I think, at this point is and always will be probably China. But that's not to say that it's because of Xi directly. It's because of a lot of things that go on in the Communist Party in China. A lot of people who have powers, a lot of businesses that are being, taken by the government and then used, to steal intellectual property and do other things that have obviously derailed our economic growth by a huge margin, where, you see huge 7% GDP growth in China and 1.5% GDP growth here during the entire Obama administration. So this is just another desperate attempt to smear the name of a good actor who's trying to purge the State Department of its corrupt individuals who are working on behalf of people who don't want the best for our country. They want the best for their bank accounts. They want the best for their special interest groups. They want the best for everyone but you, the American citizen. And I can say that being a normal American citizen who really, my only skin in the game is that I love my country and that I want us to succeed. So that's pretty much it. Thanks for bearing with me. I know I probably sound awful. I'm pretty sick at the moment, but I'm gonna get over it. I'm gonna go get some medicine tomorrow. I think I'll be all right. But now, this is a great one. We're gonna go right into the next one. This is Q posting, and he says, finder of this should apply to the NSA Q. So obviously, whoever pulled up this set of information, Q really admires and thinks, that's a good find, which is awesome. And what are they talking about here? They're talking about this post directly. This is an article from Wired.com, and it's talking about how the Pentagon killed the LifeLog project, right? And it shows the date at which Facebook was founded. And is it any coincidence that the person in the post here says, check the dates. Pentagon kills LifeLog project same day Facebook is formed. So for any of you who doubt that Facebook is a CIA or DARPA deep state project that was put together a long time ago in order to track each and every one of us from here to, or track each and every one of us in everything that we do, here's your proof from Q. He's saying, look, this is it. This is the LifeLog is Facebook. Facebook is LifeLog. All of the help the shell company funding, the huge push for it. It's not, I mean, yes, Mark Zuckerberg may be a very intelligent programmer, but he is not behind all of it. And let's just go read more about what LifeLog is. So here on Wikipedia we find the DARPA LifeLog. So as we all know, Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. LifeLog was a project of the Information Processing Techniques Office of DARPA. It says, according to its bid solicitation pamphlet, it was to be an ontology-based subsystem that captures, stores, and makes accessible the flow of one person's experience in and interactions with the world in order to support a broad spectrum of associates, assistants, and other system capabilities. The objective of LifeLog concept was to be able to trace the threads of an individual's life in terms of events, states, and relationships. And it has the ability to take in all of a subject's experience from phone numbers dialed and email messages viewed to every breath taken, step made, place gone. Now, that sounds a lot like what we're uncovering with Facebook and what they've been accused of getting into and doing. So this is very fascinating, okay? There's just so much here that we can't even get into in this episode because, I mean, a lot of it we've already covered and a lot of it you guys already know, but here's the truth about what's going on here. DARPA had spent years developing a program called LifeLog, and its basic premise is exactly what Facebook has become, a way to monitor everyone in the country without them understanding or knowing that they're being monitored. And then all of that information gets entered into databases, metadatabases that can be searched very easily. Like you would do a Google search, you can go in and just search for what emails did you look at, what phone numbers have you called, and so on and so forth. So obviously there's a lot more to be looked at LifeLog and how it became Facebook and what happened there. But I'll leave that for you guys because I want to get to the next stuff. Now, Q posts in his next one. Drop after testimony. Are you learning yet? Q. And what I think he's talking about here is that obviously they've dropped a lot of information here after the Mark Zuckerberg testimony, and it looks like right here they've dropped the fact that LifeLog and Facebook are totally connected and that it was a deep state project by DARPA. And this is what we need to be cognizant of. This is what we need to be aware of. This is the thing that's going to really set you apart from everyone else in the knowledge that you have. So take this and run with it. Do more research. Find out more. I know I'm going to be doing that as soon as I get off this video here. But I can't wait to hear what you guys find in the comments. Please let me know down at the bottom after this video. And we're going to jump right into the next Q post. Now, the next one is very interesting. I personally believe that this is President Trump posting here on Q. And why do I believe that? First off, there is no signature. Q always signs either Q or Q+. And the only times we see no signatures are where it's pretty obvious to me that they're probably President of the United States Trump posting. And it says, "Thank you, Alan. Welcome aboard. Freedom." Now, this all relates back to Donald Trump's Twitter page and what Trump said to do tonight. First, Trump's last tweet says, "Big show tonight on Sean Hannity at 9 p.m. on Fox News." And guess who was on Hannity tonight? It was Joe Genova and Alan Dershowitz. And what was Alan Dershowitz talking about? Well, I took the time to watch this whole episode. So I'll tell you exactly what Dershowitz was explaining. What Alan Dershowitz was explaining is that he has found no reason that there's any justifiable causation for the FBI to go and raid President Trump's private attorney's office and seize papers that have protected information, client attorney privilege information. And you've seen Trump post recently that the client attorney privilege is dead because they violated, and that is just infuriating to me as well. I cannot believe that the deep state is so desperate. And that's the thing. The only solace is that you see how squirming, desperate little scumbag, slimy snakes in the grass that all these scummy people are, from Mueller to Rosenstein to Comey to Loretta Lynch to Clinton, both Clintons, to all of them. They're all just scummy scumbags. They are the worst of the worst. They are the evil that we are trying to fight. Now, a lot of people want to give Alan Dershowitz a lot of flack, which I think is well-deserved. Alan Dershowitz has been famously known for representing convicted pedophile, Jeffrey Epstein, in his defense of his cases of alleged abuse of young women. And it's just no wonder that we have to make the deals with these evil people. And, you know, you'd hope there's always chance for redemption. If they really want to change and they want to help, I've seen a lot of ANONs post a lot of great little memes about it and comments just saying stuff like, oh, well, you know, this should get him at least choice preference of what, you know, the nicest jail cell. Yeah, okay. If he's involved in that pedo stuff on Epstein Island and he had dirt on him, I think what the president would be saying here, if this was his tweet or this was his post that he put on here, was he's thanking Alan for coming on board and that he has freedom now from the deep state blackmail that was going on against him. Now, why is that important? Well, you know, it's indefensible for me to sit here and try to defend what Alan Dershowitz did for Epstein in any logical sense. But I can tell you this, that if we need him, we're going to need people on the inside. We're going to need people who have been involved with these freaks and these Satanists and pedophiles and Luciferians in order to expose them. So if he joined us, then that's just what it's going to have to be. And if it is the case that Alan Dershowitz is now on our side, then I say this. We will use him for everything he's got because this fight has gotten very dirty. What they've done to Trump, what they've done in basically stripping him of his constitutional rights to privacy, it's become dirty. And it's not just dirty. These people, as Q says, we may need more gallows or bring the gallows. But I think we're going to need a bigger gallows because these people are sick. They're evil. They're pedophiles. They're Luciferians. They're the sickest of the sick. They're twisted. They're self-adulating. They have no concept of doing what's right. The only concept they know is being evil and attaining power. So we can definitely rest assured that even if a person like Alan comes on board, there will be a time for his punishment for his crimes if he had committed any. And I'll let you guys let me know what you guys think about Alan Dershowitz. And if you think that I'm correct in what I'm saying here. But the next post actually is pretty simple, I think, to me. And all it's talking about is number 17, Q. Well, guys, I've talked about this before. Who is number 17? It's Trump. Why would Trump choose 17 for his jersey? Other than the fact that it's the 17th letter of the alphabet's Q. Trump is a part of QAnon, obviously. Trump is the QAnon initiative, the QAnon collective. He's the main leader of it. And then another thing that I thought was very interesting, and somebody pointed this out to me on one of the ANONs here. But if you count just the military members, and you start here, you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I haven't been able to figure out who this guy is, but he's the only one here who's not wearing a military outfit. And is he a part of some sort of intelligence agency? You guys know who he is. Please let me know in the comments. I'd love to know his name so I can do a little more research. But he is standing in the 17th position if you go left to right, counting just the military personnel. So that's an interesting thought too, but my suspicion is that Trump is 17. He is Q. He's a part of the Q collective. And this guy could definitely be a part of it too. I can't make out what his button says there. It's too blurry. But let's just say he's a person of interest for now. So you guys let me know what you think in the comments. And that's going to be basically it for tonight. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. If you're looking for a way to contribute to the channel, the easiest way to do it, it's free to you and it helps me out big time, is to come here. If you have not clicked the subscribe button yet, please come click the subscribe button. You can hit the bell for notifications if you want to be notified when these videos get posted. Also, another way to help out is, as I always say, we basically have our own QAnon research board at the end of each one of these videos. You guys go down there, we talk about what's happened on Q, we spitball ideas, we talk about theories, and there's just an incredible amount of insightful, thoughtful, and great individuals. Most of the people who have come here and hit the subscribe button like to contribute, and it's just amazing. I mean, we have to go down and check this out. So, if you guys, even if you don't go down and comment, please go down and read through the comments, because you will most likely learn something you did not know before. And a lot of information that I've found out has been through actively conversating with people down in the comments. And if you're looking for another way to contribute to the channel, I really need all the help I can get. Please come here and check out my Patreon page. Now, I have good news. The t-shirts just arrived today, so I'll be shipping out the first shipment of those tomorrow to the people you know who you are who've come here and donated to get your official Just Informed Talk is Trump QAnon t-shirt. Those are going to be shipped out today, but come here, check out you can come here to patreon.com, that's patreon.com. You can search Just Informed Talk, it'll take you here to this main landing page. All you have to do is click the red button to become a patron. Donate whatever you can. I need all the help I can get. I'm so grateful and thankful to each and every one of you patriots out there who are contributing and keeping this channel alive. Without you guys, I couldn't do it, so thank you. Come check out my rewards and my goal. And I can't wait. Thank you in advance for you guys coming here and checking this out. And thank you so much to each and every one of my patrons who have already come here and contributed and have made this channel really what it is. So, that's pretty much it for tonight. But now we're going to talk about, obviously, my favorite thing. The whole reason I started this channel. There's something to be said about bringing God into every equation in life. We can't spend our whole lives thinking that the decisions that we make and the things we do are ours alone. They always involve God, because they're always going to matter in our eternal life, in our soul, in what will happen not here, but in the next life, which is much greater than this life here on earth. So for those of you who are having trouble, for those of you who are feeling down, I mean, I get the nicest messages from people who say that, just talking about God for a few minutes helps them out in a huge way. And that touches me. I mean, I want to do that. That was the whole idea when I started this channel, is that was all I wanted to do, was to bring people closer to God. And now I have a chance to do it with more and more people. So thank you so much to everybody who's come here and subscribed and joined this. But tonight we're going to do a little Bible reading. It's going to be pretty short. And we're going to read from the book of Proverbs. And it's Proverbs chapter 29, verse 11 through 16. And I'm going to read this pretty quick. It says, "A fool gives full vent to his anger, but a wise man holds it in check. If a ruler listens to lies, all his servants will be wicked. The poor and the oppressor have this in common. The Lord gives light to the eyes of both. A king who judges the poor with fairness, his throne will be established forever. A rod of correction imparts wisdom, but a youth left to himself is a disgrace to his mother. When the wicked increase, rebellion increases, but the righteous will see their downfall." So, truer words could not have been said to what we just talked about tonight. And why is that? Well, it's pretty simple. We have to vent. We have to hold our anger in check, and we have to act with the wisdom of the Lord. And we need to seek his guidance before we make any decision in our life. And I think sometimes people get a little confused. They think, what am I supposed to pick up a phone and call God? Well, no, you're not supposed to do that. What you're supposed to do is open your heart to God, say a prayer. And God doesn't necessarily answer you in the way that you think he will. Pretty much ever. He answers you in the way that he knows you need to be answered. So understand that in these times we have to have faith. And that's a lot of what Q talks about, is having faith in the plan, trusting in the plan. Now, the ultimate plan is to trust in God and to follow his word and seek his guidance and his wisdom in our everyday lives, so that we may have that eternal life with Jesus, because he did die on the cross for our sins, that soever who believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life. But, oh, excuse me.
There's probably some pretty big names here checking out these half-price floats.
Deal here with advertisements. Obviously, in my opinion, the devil's work. Not literally, just in general, those kind of things. They're just ways to distract us from what's really important, that is God. Okay? And we have to understand that what's going on with these people who work in the FBI and the DOJ, the Muellers and the Comeys and the Rosensteins and the McCabe's and the Loretta Lynch's and the Clintons and, the list is so long it's hard to just recite every single time. But they were rulers who listened to lies, and all of their servants became wicked. And now you're seeing that. The wicked are fighting against the good. And we have to understand that when these wicked people increase in number, the rebellion increases. But, as it's pointed out here in this Bible verse, the righteous will see their downfall. So you need to trust the plan and have faith in God first. And trust that since we're here working with the righteous word of the Lord, that there's nothing that can stand between us and our salvation and our eventual vindication when it comes to these evil actors who have evil in their hearts, have been misguided, corrupted, however it may be, and now they act to subvert what's good because they don't know anything else. All they know is how to propagate and push evil, because that's how they got to where they are. And that's what this whole Luciferian pedophile Satanist clique is all about. They're not about pushing good. They're about posing as good and then pushing evil beneath the surface. And we're exposing that. We're bringing the light to the darkness. So thank you to each and every one of you who have joined me tonight. If you don't take anything away from this episode, please take that away. And please let me know what you think in the comments. I'd love to hear it. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Again, if you have not hit the subscribe button, the easiest way to help out this channel is to come here and click that red subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell for notifications. But that's going to be it for tonight. I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for watching. But that's going to be it for me. And I'm going to try to keep getting better. I'm on the mend. Prayers for all of you guys out there. And I've been saying a few prayers for myself too, so that I get healthy, so I can keep doing this at full speed. But thank you so much for joining me and bearing with me through it. And I can't wait to get on with you guys again. As soon as the information gets made available to me, I'll make it available to you. That's going to be it for this episode. Thanks for watching. I'm Craig. This is Just Informed Talk. Godspeed, and God bless you all, Patriots.